It's been a long time since Disney forgot about this muddy Deadpool. A little secret was revealed that the werewolf really hadn't logged out. Deadpool must have been so free that he went out north of Dakota just to dig up a lifeless corpse. Moreover, in a situation where the world was in danger, but Wade Wilson's confidence was slapped when he saw the dry skeleton of the werewolf right in front of him, angry because he needed Logan's help, but Wade began to smash the fire. At this time, the people of the Time Variance Management Agency had followed Deadpool here. Instead of surrendering to the soldiers, the god chose to use Wolverine's skeleton as a bulletproof beer. Deadpool began his extreme performance by giving each of them a bone. The young man didn't even forget to dance as if he was performing for the audience, and in the end, Wade pulled out the werewolf's claws to use coolly. It seems that everything is going by a little fast. So let's go back in time to better understand why this muddy young man is involved with werewolves. On March 14, 2018, Wade was still packing a suit to apply for an Avenger. Wade also boasted that he was the leader and founder of X-Force before the group was stunned in one action. Wade wanted to become an Avenger simply because this is the craziest force on Earth and specializes in important missions. Hogan explained that the Avengers are more of a representative squad than just wearing costumes and fighting. The main difference is that Wade wants this job, but the Avengers have to do it because everyone needs them. Logan was naturally not satisfied with this muddy guy who liked to talk to himself at all. He thought that Wade was aiming a little high and perhaps should find a position in the middle so that he would never fail. The time changed to 6 years later when Wade had become a used car salesman. Mr. then still kept the habit of swearing even when talking to customers, wandering on the street with his friends when Wade noticed that some people in the distance were secretly taking pictures of him. When he went to the young man's house, he realized that everyone had organized a surprise birthday party for him. Wade went around to greet everyone. The old lady wearing sunglasses played Batman and invited the young man to make some cocaine to celebrate. Meeting his ex-girlfriend, Wade seemed to still be in a daze when he learned that he was now getting more stable with his new lover. Stopped ignoring the memories together. Wade just wanted to be at peace with his loved ones, and in this room, just after blowing out the candles, the soldiers from the Oriental Agency came again, and they hadn't moved their hands and feet for a long time, so Wade calculated to buy time to play dragonfly cards. But suddenly the guy fainted. When he regained consciousness, Paradox, the man from TVA, the Time Management Agency, was in front of him. Wade guessed that his use of the cable time machine was the reason, but Paradox denied it. The two of them entered an office full of screens that symbolized a different timeline. Now Paradox gave Wade a chance because he had been wishing for a long time. That is to join the ranks of Avengers superheroes. Of course, the young man will not refuse this fragrant offer. Wade began to remodel his appearance and dress up, and then a super muddy Deadpool once again reappeared in Gypsy. The guy was extremely satisfied with the fashion design and also gave praise to the fat guy. Paradox shows Deadpool how timeline dies when an anchor disappears. An anchor is an entity of such importance that if they die, their world will die. Young Wade thinks the other guy is talking about him and claims to be enjoying the days of selling used cars. But Paradox didn't mean it was Wade, it was the werewolf Wolverine. And then he showed a video of the werewolf approaching the wolf that silenced everyone. Paradox declared that he would not waste time watching Deadpool's world disappear naturally, and frankly he wanted to destroy the timeline with his own hands, which included his friends just now celebrating Wade's birthday. Deadpool has two choices: go back to his relatives and enjoy the last moments of his life for Paradox to wipe out with his own hands, or teleport to the sacred timeline to become a greater character than the crooked guy who sells cars. Wade is initially disheartened, but he is not a bastard who abandons his friends. Deadpool rammed the leaf piercer and broke his nose and escaped to find the werewolf. From there, we have a scene at the beginning of the movie when Wade uses a few dog bones to mistake a werewolf bone to fight each other. After dealing with the last one by feeding him the whole Deadpool sword, continues his journey to find another werewolf. Wade finds Logan, but in this world the young man looks like a middle school child, traveling through many different dimensions, even meeting the Green Giant, but still couldn't find out where Logan was real. After many efforts, Wade found the god sitting sipping in a pub. The guy tried to convince Logan to come with him, but the werewolf kept thinking that this guy was out of breath. The two began to pull out hot goods to defend themselves. Deadpool put a gun to the werewolf's head, but instead of panicking, he drank the whole bottle of wine and fell asleep. Wade carried the young man back in a werewolf uniform, but Paradox's reaction was not very positive. He needed a genuine werewolf, and the name in front of him even abandoned his own world. He began to reason that Wade's world was about to dissipate, so the guy helping it disappear faster was also a form of humanity. Deadpool realized that Paradox was working outside the flow and what he was doing was not known to his superiors. Before Wade could tell the guys upstairs, Paradox quickly teleported the god to another place. Logan rushed over and was given a free ticket to travel with Deadpool, while Wade was dreaming. Wolverine used 2 sharp claws to grab the god by the neck to ask what the hell was going on. After giving Deadpool a few shots to the dangerous place, Logan left angrily. Wade was no better because his world was about to be in danger. The two began to exchange martial arts. When the martial arts couldn't solve the problem, Deadpool shot the werewolf's body, but the grandson was also thrown a full meter. Wade tried to reason with Logan, but it seemed that the young man was bleeding dogs. He used his ultimate skill to replace bullets in the air and then fired at the werewolf. Wolverine rushed to stab him with his fangs but was also slashed in the head by the katana. In the end, the werewolf was still the one who had the advantage because the name Deadpool was super swampy and only suitable for comedy. Wade began to convince him that the TPAs had the ability to finish off his world but could also change Logan's world. Deadpool wanted the two of them to go back there together to correct the mistakes in the werewolf world. At this time, a young man in a cloak called out to the two. In the distance, a convoy with countless iron chains was crowding in. The other young man took off his mask. It turned out to be the extremely handsome captain. He told everyone to stay close to each other. But Wade hugged him like a calf. A guy named Pyro started to make the captain angry. Instead of ordering the Avengers to summon the young man to turn into Johnny Storm in the Super 4, Storm flew up and blew fire towards Pyro. But this guy was also in a medium form. He used his control ability to cause Captain America to be hit in danger. A gray-haired old man named Sabretooth rushed down as if to eat Wade and Logan. The werewolf and the old man rushed to fight, and after only one of Sabretooth's attacks left his body. Because of the serious crime, Wade and Logan were sucked up by a giant magnet, and when they woke up, they saw Storm being taken back to the station with 2 young men who were taking revenge. This place was like a metaphysical junkyard, and Storm and the others were trying to survive and escape. Logan thought that the people here would help them find TVA, but Storm laughed, and the convoy began to enter the base where a group of mutants from the X-Men were waiting, and coming out from inside was Professor Charles's twin sister Cassandra Nova, who had waited a long time to catch Johnny Storm and suddenly had 2 more guests. Wade began to add fuel to the fire by making up the story that Storm spoke ill of Cassandra with all kinds of vulgar things in the world. Despite the fireman's explanation, Cassandra seemed to believe that the young man was super muddy. She swung her hand and the entire outer skin of Storm had disappeared, leaving her body shattered into pieces. TVA had sent her to this land before Cassandra could walk. For her, this place was a paradise where she could use her power to her heart's content. She mentioned Logan's children that made him angry and rushed to tear him apart, but with psychic abilities. Dealing with this werewolf was too simple for her. Cassandra approached and began to read Wade's mind by putting his hand in his head. The guy's memory flashed back to his argument with Vanessa. Cassandra began to use her image to say hurtful words. But Wade was still awake enough to be aware of reality. At this time, Logan suddenly attacked from behind, but it was not enough to hurt a mutant like Cassandra. When a monster in the smoke came to make everyone look for shelter, Logan quickly activated the engine to get Wade flying out of the dense fog. The werewolf didn't want to get involved in any more trouble with Wade. He said they both needed to find the people Storm had mentioned to find a way out of this place, and went to TVA. And they both started to get some food to eat. But Wade's habit of talking a lot made Logan uncomfortable. Deadpool said that in his world, werewolves are very admired. But Logan is not proud of it because in Wolverine's world, like shit. Wade begins to talk about the failures in his life, and what he regrets most is letting Vanessa go. He added that Logan in his world was foolish when trying to save a mutant girl. The two were wandering around when they happened to meet the Deadpool of this world. The guy introduced himself and Nicepool and even Ladypool, who had just given birth. Introducing each other, Nicepool knew that the two were heading towards the borderland, so he lent the car to the 2 young men. The young Wade looked at the Honda in front of him and began to criticize the scab, but Logan didn't want to be long. On the way, Wade began to ask Han about his plans after repairing Logan's world. When the werewolf heard this, he realized that this young man was pinning him because Deadpool himself was not sure if he could fix it. Logan angrily stabbed his claws into Wade's legs and interrogated him, while he was angry and poured out extremely difficult words about Wade. Logan cursed that Deadpool was just an incompetent superhero who craved attention and couldn't get into the X-Men or Avenger. Even the relationship with Vanessa couldn't be maintained and Logan just wanted Wade to log out. But unfortunately it was almost impossible. Deadpool got mad after hearing it. And then the two rushed into each other in a messy battle, fighting round after round. But for the two guys who were able to recover, it didn't seem to be a joke. When they were both tired and fell asleep, a stranger came and drove away. Wade woke up and realized that he was inside a house. Deadpool exchanged some basic lines with the person who was walking, and it turned out to be a girl. She introduced herself as Elektra and the two names followed by Blade and Gambit spoke mixed Russian, because the werewolf drank too much of Gambit's alcohol. So the guy threw the card and the glass bottle exploded. At this time, Laura also appeared to be the one who brought the two young men here. Wade immediately realized that this was the 23 X-mutants that Logan had sacrificed to save his life in his world. These were all characters who were pushed to the land of the void by the TVA because their universe was coming to an end and they themselves had no right to fight because of it. Deadpool wanted to cooperate with this guild to get out. The flex guy about Cassandra's escape from the lair surprised everyone. Wade also mourned Storm's departure while this guy was the one who indirectly killed the Fire Youth. Logan knew that Wade was scolding, so he teased a few sentences. Although they could no longer save the world of the other four, they were still determined to overthrow Cassandra's domination, and in the evening Logan was drinking alone when Laura approached. The werewolf reminded him of his uncle who always appeared when she was in trouble. However, Logan always thinks that he is the worst version of Wolverine in the timeline, and Laura thinks that she grew up like any other child thanks to her uncle, who now recounts the sad memories of his world, teammates and mutants like Scott. Jean, Beast, and Storm once asked Wolverine to join the team. The guy thought he was too ridiculous but kept thinking about that offer. And then one day the humans came and killed all the mutants while Logan was drunk, from which this suit reminded him of his teammates who had fallen and also wounded in his heart Wolverine. Laura says they'll be leaving for Cassandra soon, but Logan says it's not his business. Pyro informs Paradox that Logan and Wade have escaped, and the director doesn't want to get involved with Cassandra because she's too strong for the rest. Paradox offers a price for Pyro to process Cassandra to limit risks. The next morning, the car carrying the Wade group began to move forward. The immediate target of the group would be to take the Juggernaut's hat to weigh in with Cassandra. Blade opened fire to open the way for the group to go inside. Stepping out from the trunk of the car was the young man Logan who had changed his mind. Gambit has waited too long to hit this day to attack this mutant's lair. The two sides began to rush into chaos. Blade attacked the Indian but he had the ability to teleport too unpleasantly. Gambit flexibly used the cards to distribute to each death notice. Logan and Wade were cleared by the others, so they went straight inside. Cassandra was already waiting inside and of course she wouldn't help these two young men come back. She swung her hand a few times to make Deadpool fly around. Wolverine wasn't much better because he couldn't resist the control of mutants. The Blades were fighting each other when they were blocked by a long-tongued guy so he gave him a few slashes. Gambit used a light stick to pierce the bearded man so that he could log out. Elektra flexibly slashed off the Juggernaut's foot causing the big guy to fall. Cassandra began to penetrate Logan's subconscious. She knew that the werewolf was always trying to escape from the people he had disappointed. Cassandra constantly manipulated Logan from the inside and advised him to stay in the void to be enslaved. Logan was so moved that he was speechless. But it was actually just a trick. Cassandra woke up and saw that the Juggernaut's resistance hat was holding her tightly, but she couldn't bring them both back because she couldn't use her strength with this rice cooker. Cassandra assured that if she took off her hat, both young men would fly instantly, and while she was hesitating, Pyro went in and shot her repeatedly. He began to curse her for being wrong day after day, but Logan blocked the man's throat with a punch. Logan couldn't stand by and watch Cassandra die because she was Professor Charles's sister after all. Deadpool thought he was sick because she was planning to kill both of them just a few minutes ago, and Logan finally decided to take off his hat so that Cassandra would heal herself, and he did it because the professor, even though he wanted to kill this bald head. This seemed to change her mind, understanding that her brother loved Logan so much that Cassandra didn't make it difficult anymore. She took out Doctor Strange's ring that she had beaten last time to draw a magic circle. But the monster Alioth was coming and they had only 4 seconds left before it swallowed them all. Fortunately, the protagonist's aura has not yet ended the movie here, so Logan and Wade can teleport to the real world. Both of them fall on the car that Wade's colleague is selling to customers. Pyro wakes up and has to reveal all the contracts with Paradox. The director of the TVA promised to get him out of here if he got rid of Cassandra. He was now rushing to complete the Time Ripper machine. Welcoming the two young Wade and Logan back, Paradox was hard to believe because the Void was a very difficult land to survive, while Cassandra used Strange's circle to find revenge. She knew that Paradox was building the Time Ripper, and in contrast to Wade and Logan, she wanted to use it. Cassandra knocked the two young men out and revealed that she wanted to destroy all the planets so that the Void was ruled by her, and the unauthorized use of this machine was reported to her superiors. Meanwhile, Deadpool and the werewolf woke up to see that the puppy and Nicepool had passed through the portal to teleport. Next is a lot of Deadpool from all over the universe also gathered here. Old people, children, ninja women of all kinds are all dressed in the costumes of the most muddy superhero in Marvel. This army doesn't seem to be very good at fighting. Cassandra hired them to block the way for Deadpool and Wolverine to stop the plan. Ladypool shoots at all three, but the young man Wade quickly takes out Nicepool to block the bullet. I thought he could regenerate it, but suddenly everyone has the ability to recover like Wade. So Deadpool used the guy as a bulletproof beer. I thought the two people's affection would help Nicepool survive, but after exactly one shot, his head he was disbanded. Wade had to pull out two gold-plated pistols to fight. Logan was also very happy because he was about to kill 100 Deadpools. The werewolf put on his mask and Wade didn't forget to say a few sentences. The two rushed to the fake Deadpools and knocked them down one by one. The werewolf youth was too buffalo and dog, so the whole group couldn't stop them, fighting so much that the blind old woman even wished she was deaf. So after defeating the whole group, she found out that these guys could all be regenerated. At this time, young Peter walked over in a full-bellied Deadpool costume. It seems that because Deadpool in every universe has a close friend, Peter, everyone likes this guy very much. Seeing Peter on Wade's side of 100, the rest of Deadpool also stopped the battle to run out to open a party. Two young men ran over. Paradox cried out that it was too late to stop. If Cassandra steals the Time Ripper, then all universes will dissipate except for her, the Void. The werewolf begins to raise her fangs to threaten Paradox into telling her how to destroy the machine, which can theoretically be stopped by interrupting the feed circuit. One of the two will create a circuit between the two feeds and then the energy will be released. Launch will destroy the machine, but the creator of the connection line will be destroyed. Wade and Logan are confident because they have the ability to regenerate, but this case is not that simple. This is matter and antimatter, so when they blend into someone's body, it will lead to atomization. Even if they live long enough to create a circuit, they will die on the spot. Seeing that Cassandra was gradually achieving his goal, Wade did not hesitate to take responsibility, but Wolverine stopped him simply because if there was someone who needed to die, it should be a werewolf. How many friends Wade had waiting at home, and Logan simply had no one left. Wade finally gave up and recognized Logan as the best werewolf in the universe. The werewolf was about to enter when Deadpool rushed over and pushed his friend out. The guy didn't forget to take a few shots, probably because he was worried that he was going to die. Despite Logan's efforts to smash the door, Deadpool's decision was still to move forward. Wade smashed a pillar of energy and reached to the other side to try to create a pulse. Time was running out and even Paradox couldn't believe there would be a miracle. Just as the reach was at its limit, Logan rushed over and grabbed Wade's hand. The werewolf touched the other pole with his fangs and successfully created an energy circuit to stop Cassandra's process. In the moment of life and death, Logan remembers the moment when Laura is trusted. Wade's mind is full of the shadows of his friends and especially Vanessa, who he loves the most. The two look at each other with pride because now there are no barriers but only the pride of being a superhero. The energy level jumped to 100% and created a huge explosion that engulfed the entire area. Paradox was investigated by his superiors for the unauthorized use of Time Ripper. The young man began his touching speech about two superheroes who heroically sacrificed to protect the universe. But a familiar voice rang out and it was our Deadpool Holy Swamp. The two young men came out of the smoke as cool as a toilet and did not forget to laugh at the Paradox. He wondered why the two of them could survive. The answer was the power of friendship. If it was one of the two, it would definitely be stupid. But Deadpool plus Wolverine on the background of Madonna. It was invincible. The Black Boss tried to strangle Deadpool in the void, but Peter came to relieve him and said that this was Wade's house, and Paradox was immediately carried away for operating the Time Ripper illegally. There is a miracle that has happened, is that Wade's universe is being reborn. The last act not only saved Wade's world but even a timeline that is about to become extinct. Deadpool still does not forget to mention his teammates who stood side by side in the void and hope that TVA can bring them back. However, about changing Logan's past, it seems impossible because it is the past that has created the current werewolf superhero. After the battle, the two young men sit and confide in the last words before saying goodbye to each other. It seems that it will be a cold farewell like the young Wade invited Logan home because now the werewolf also has a place to live now. So everyone gathered together, from old friends to even the girl Laura had also come here. Wade finally dared to confess that everything he did was because of Vanessa. The two of them held each other's hands as a sign of resuming their old love. For him, the best thing is that sometimes the person I save will save me.